What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well. If you're in the heat, hopefully you are staying inside and keeping cool. If you're in the Northeast, hopefully you avoided the flooding that occurred over this weekend. It's time for the Monday edition of the Climate Update for Monday, July 17th, 2023. Starting off today with the satellite picture, taking a look here, we can see several things going on. That system from yesterday in the east, it's finally exiting stage right. And unfortunately behind it, you would think, oh, weather's going to be nicer. It's not. We have several issues going on. Number one, the heat still persists. It's already up to 86 degrees here in Philadelphia, and it's not even noontime yet. The dew points are still stuck in the 70s. They're trying to drop a little bit, but there's so much excess moisture laying around that it's really hard for the dew points to drop. Here's the other issue, and this issue extends generally from the plains on down through the Tennessee Valley, Illinois, right on into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. The wildfire smoke is back again, and that is disrupting air quality. I will show that to you in a little bit. We do have a system here in the Midwest that's moving into the Tennessee and Kentucky area. That will trigger some showers and thunderstorms, and it will also trigger some showers and thunderstorms across Pennsylvania today. It's possible there could be some severe weather. Some modeling suggests there could be, some SPC saying marginal. We'll have to watch it. Again, that wildfire smoke does come in play, so could it end up stronger than expected? It's possible. Across Florida today, showers and thunderstorms are expected for you, and the rest of the country down in the southwest, west coast, and the south, extreme heat. So we'll talk about everything. Let's talk about the heat first. And we're just going to do some news-related items. And Phoenix recorded its 17th consecutive 110-degree high, tying a 1995 heat wave for the second longest. Phoenix reached 7 consecutive 90 or above lows. Wow, 90 degrees was your low temperature. That's really bad. And 8 consecutive 100-degree Fahrenheit or above mean temperatures, tying the records. And this is from Don Sutherland on Twitter. He tweets out fantastic stuff. Follow him if you get a chance. Now from NWS, National Weather Service, El Paso. As of 8:01 p.m. yesterday, the El Paso airport is now at 31 days at or above 100 degrees, with many more likely to come. I do believe that's a record in El Paso. So it's something that we're going to have to continue watching. I mean, this is just extremely dangerous heat. And as we head over into Texas now, Houston confirms its first heat-related death of the year amid extreme heat across the U.S. And there have been several heat-related deaths across the country so far this year. I don't have an exact number. I'm going to try and get one for future updates later in the week. It's got to be starting to climb up there because this heat has just been ongoing. And now we come over to this. Let's talk about another situation of deaths. Unfortunately, Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Death toll rises to 5 after flooding. There was a historic flash flood in the Washington's Crossing area. If you don't know where that is, Philadelphia County sits in southeast Pennsylvania. Just north of there is Bucks County. It's about a half hour to 40 minutes outside of Philadelphia. And take a look at this here. I actually know exactly where this road is. This is Taylorsville Road. And it just completely flooded out. And a family was on their way to a barbecue. And unfortunately, the floodwaters swept their vehicle. The mother has been pronounced dead. There are still 2 kids that are missing. I'm fearing the worst at this point because it's now been since Saturday. And what had happened in that area was, with the flash flooding, they saw 6 to 7 inches of rain. Let me repeat that, because what I'm about to tell you next is even more staggering. 6 to 7 inches of rain in 45 minutes in that area. Thunderstorms exploded. They kept merging with each other. There were a lot of outflow boundaries ongoing on radar, and it just dumped rain in that area. Now let's come over to this. Jim Cantore tweeted this on Twitter this morning, and I do need to show you this. First off, here's the precipitation month to date in the Northeast. It's just been insanity. And remember how dry May was? At least down in the mid-Atlantic. I mean, we don't even, that's a distant, long memory now that we don't even, hardly even remember because it's just been so wet lately. And you can see these purples here. Yes, these pinkish purple. That is 10 to 15 inches of rain. And there's a lot of places that have had 10 to 15 inches of rain this month. Vermont has several areas. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, there's several of them. Now we need to go to this. 30-day rainfall totals. Now we introduced purple. 15 to 20 inch areas. There's a few of them that are starting to pop up now. And look at the widespread 10 to 15 areas. Philadelphia area, right on up into New England. I mean, there were road washouts yesterday up in places in New Hampshire. I saw Reed Timmer. He was up there. He was reporting on them. This is just unreal. Have we seen this happen before? Yes, we've seen where cases of this happened before. 2011 is a great memory locally. I do remember 2011 was just tremendously wet. That was our wettest summer ever, meteorological summer ever in Philadelphia. But you know what? We're only at July 17th. Meteorological summer does not end until the end of August, and we're at this already. We could be on pace to break 2011 in some places. We'll have to see what happens. There's already indications of some more events. We'll get to that in the date in a moment. Let's take a look at the National Hazards Map here. A lot going on yet again, but what you don't see a lot of is the flash flood watches. Okay, there's flash flood watches up in Hawaii, but look at the Northeast. You finally get a little break, at least for today. Tomorrow's concerning. All right, taking a look here, we have the heat advisories, warnings, excessive heat warnings ongoing in the south. That's going to continue for several more days. You do have air quality alerts up in the Northeast. Speaking of that, let's talk about the air quality, and I have to refresh this. There is many areas of bad air quality to talk about. Look at all these reds that are popping up today. The combination of the wildfire smoke and the high heat. And this is relatively concerning. It's not only going to be in effect today, it's going to be in effect tomorrow too, because the dew points, even if they do eventually drop in the Northeast, and I'm looking to my right now, we finally just dropped below 70-degree dew point here in Philadelphia. It's now down to 69. And even if they do drop today, they're going to rise again tomorrow. There's another system coming. So you couple that with wildfire smoke, and many places are going to be moderate to code orange. You can see here, there's the red. It's on the map here. And then we come back here into the northern plains, up here into the Rocky Mountains, or parts of the Rocky Mountains. And you can see there is some concerns of wildfire smoke. And look at this. We also have air quality concerns now in California. Why? Because it's wildfire season. There, I've been reading there's now a fire called the Rabbit Fire, which is ongoing. It was actually trending on Twitter yesterday. So, yes, that's of concern as well. Hard to believe we're talking fires again in California after all that rain you had in the wintertime, but that's what happens. You go from one extreme to another out there. Let's continue on with the latest radar picture. We do have showers and thunderstorms today coming out of Iowa into St. Louis. That's that system I was telling you about. We also have showers and thunderstorms in Florida, Tampa, Orlando, Miami, a lot of places in Florida, Cape Coral. You're going to see just widespread showers and thunderstorms. There could be an incident or two of flash flooding if storms start to merge or sit over an area for a long period of time. Other than that, not a terribly active day, at least on the storm front for today. We do have a couple areas of slight risk from the Storm Prediction Center. We have one that's coming out of Montana, Wyoming, South Dakota, and Nebraska. We'll have to watch that. There's the isolated risk of wind and hail. No tornado areas as of right now, but as you know, it can be less than 2%, and we can still see a tornado form. It's happened time and time again. We do have this slight risk in Kentucky and Tennessee. It also does go back into Missouri and portions of Arkansas. Just a marginal risk as of right now for Pennsylvania. But when we take a look at the HER, you'll see it's possible that could get upgraded to a slight risk on the next update. Marginal risk of excessive rainfall for today. Day 2. Yeah, look at this. Slight risk already in place for the Northeast. There's going to be some showers and thunderstorms. It does not take much rainfall for the ground to get aggravated and to cause flash flooding. Like I showed you, there's no flash flood watches right now. We'll see. Could that change? It's possible. Also a slight risk tomorrow across portions of Illinois, Indiana, and into Kentucky, even back into Missouri. We could see some heavier rainfall tomorrow. And there's a slight risk day 3, and this one could get upgraded to a potential moderate risk in Kentucky, West Virginia, and Virginia, because there's a pretty potent system that's going to come through. All right, we have to take a look at Subtropical Depression Don. As you can see, here's where it is right now as of 9 a.m. on Monday. It's expected to do almost a full loop. It will be back to just west of where it is right now by 6 a.m. on Saturday. Taking a look at the satellite picture, you can see, yes, it is still subtropical. It's not a full tropical system. And moving on here, I did promise I would show you this. There was another system that lasted a really long time and did loops. That was Nadine, and I believe Nadine was back in 2012, September 10th through October 3rd. I think it was the third longest system ever recorded. I think it was the second longest in the Atlantic basin. So yes, this has happened before. We see these systems do loops. They don't happen all the time, but once in a rare while you do get a system like this. And while we're talking about the tropics, I do want to show you this. Remember yesterday I said there are some signs that there could be tropical activity down the line? Well, take a look at what the European Ensemble's putting out. Yes, this is a tropical system as we head into next week. It's something that we'll have to watch. It would start forming maybe as early as Saturday. Then we have to watch as it goes west, and who knows where it goes from there. So it's something we're going to have to start keeping an eye on. All right, now let's get to the model data for today. Here's the 12Z HER model, and I did want to show you this. As you can see here, it's showing scattered showers and thunderstorms across Pennsylvania. I do want to give you a little disclaimer. The HER model has been off on placement. At times it's been overdone. Saturday it had 10 inches of rain for portions of Connecticut into Massachusetts for the Sunday event. We know that heavier rain ended up a little bit more east. And it also yesterday showed a back edge area of training thunderstorms across southeast Pennsylvania. That was wrong yesterday as well, but just wanted to show you this because you all know what happened yesterday. If you didn't see our video yesterday, check down and see it. There was a surprise severe weather outbreak east of the Storm Prediction Center's slight risk area yesterday. So I'm just trying to show you here, even though you're in a marginal area in Pennsylvania and West Virginia, pay close attention. With this wildfire smoke around, it could add more energy and it could allow storms to be more severe. And there's something else I want to show you here. The HER model does show a training segment in the Poconos. I'm not certain that's going to actually happen, but if it does, look at this. Here's the total precipitation amounts. You can see here, isolated 1-inch plus amounts. That's enough to cause flooding concerns again because the ground is just super saturated. Let's advance this, shall we? I do want to also show you this. Look at this in Kentucky, and we'll actually zoom into this. You can see in Kentucky here, it is showing an area of heavier rainfall as we head into Wednesday, between now and Wednesday. So that's something we're going to have to watch as well. Now let's take a look at the GFS for the longer range forecast. But first thing I want to show you is tomorrow. Remember, this is the GFS. It's called Global Forecasting System. It's not a convective model. So I am going to throw out a red flag at the GFS. Why? Let's zoom into Northeast just for a second. Take a look what it's doing here in the Northeast. That's a lot of convection it's showing there. That's a red flag signal for a couple training segments tomorrow. We hope that does not happen, but if it does happen, we have to concern ourselves with flash flooding yet again. And watch, I will advance it a little further. You can see here, it does linger into the evening hours. The majority of the activity should dissipate after the sunset, but again, take a look here. You have training segments from southern New York on up through much of New England. Should that occur, you would see localized areas of 1 to 2, maybe even isolated 3 inches of rainfall, and it could, yes, happen in a short period of time and cause more flash flooding. Let's advance this a little further. Here's that system we're watching for Wednesday. This we really have to watch. That could provide potential for some flash flooding in Tennessee, maybe Nashville, maybe Knoxville, Tennessee. We have to watch how this sets up. I think Nashville, you might actually be a little bit too far west, but we'll see here. It's hard to say what is going to happen. because this is a convective system. It could change. We'll have another update on this again tomorrow. Let's continue on, and we are also watching this system for late week. I'm concerned about Friday. I think Friday not only could have severe weather in the Northeast, it could also have flash flooding. And look at this, back across Oklahoma and Kansas. Yes, that's another potential MCS that we're going to have to watch. And that Friday system could linger into Saturday across portions of New England. So really, if we let's backtrack for a second. Really, it's going to start Thursday evening into Saturday, at least portions of Saturday in the Northeast. So that's the next period of potential severe weather and the potential for flash flooding, aside from tomorrow evening's event. After that, look at this. As of right now, finally a drying period in the Northeast where we're not seeing a major threat for maybe more than 3 days. That's the first time that's happened in a while, but as we do head into the middle of next week, then we do watch this next system. But again, keyword middle of next week, probably likely to change. Let's take a look at the temperatures here across the country. As you can see, the South is going to continue to be extremely hot, but we do have that small area of below average temperatures across the Great Lakes where temperatures just for the next couple days will be below average. Then by Wednesday it does start to heat up again, but that is not going to be long tracked. As that upper level system comes into play later in the week, watch what happens. It does cool down a little bit in the Great Lakes. The South, you just stay baking hot. As you can see here on the European model, the Northeast with that system, probably Friday will be cooler. The dew points and humidity will still be up, but it's going to be a little bit cooler in the Northeast as we head into the weekend. It's actually not going to be a bad weekend once we can get rid of that upper level system. The Northeast, Pacific Northwest, it's a little small area here where you're going to be slightly below average as well. And then now we're taking a look at next week. And as you can see, as we're looking at next week, you can see next week actually is not going to be all that bad in the Northeast, but in the South, extremely dangerous heat continues. There's no relief in sight. And who knows, this could end up as one of the hottest summers ever for portions of the South. Look at this. We're at the end of the European, and portions of Arizona are still in up north of 110 degrees. Let's quickly take a look at the 1 through 7 precip totals. And you can see here from days 1 to 7, we do have a precip maximum in the Kentucky area. We have to watch that. That's concerning. Another maximum back here across portions of Oklahoma, portions of Colorado, and Kansas. That we'll have to watch. Florida as well. You're going to be wet. The drought is over for you at this time. Let's take a look at 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. Still going with below average from the Climate Prediction Center across the Ohio Valley, above average in the west. Then when we take a look at the 8 to 14 day outlook, near normal across portions of the Mid-Atlantic, slightly above normal in New England, above in the west and south. That's just going to continue for temperatures. 6 to 10 day precipitation, below average in the northwest, above average in the south, above average in the northeast, slightly below average in the Ohio Valley, and finally 8 to 14 days is below average in the northwest and the northern plains, slightly above average in the south, and slightly above average in the southwest. And northeast, yes, it could get a little wet again. We'll just have to watch how it unfolds. And of course, the south, a lot of this depends on what goes on beyond this range with tropical activity. If tropical activity picks up, obviously it would be pretty wet in the south. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's climate update. We'll have another climate update again tomorrow. If you like this content, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe to my channel down below. If you know anyone that needs to see this important information on climate and your weather forecast, by all means, share it with your friends, family, share it on social media, or to whoever needs to see this. Alrighty, thanks for watching. I'll see you all again next time. Keep cool, stay dry, and have a great day. Thanks for watching, everyone.